with basically having good on the solo lane, very comfortable. They can also have some zero tools, some VP plays. It was possible, but with this role swap, I think they lost a lot of their strength.
It's going to take some time to adjust for sure, but if they don't adjust or if they swap back, then, you know, I wonder what the reason was for the swap in the first place. A lot of the times you see role swaps based on meta changes, but more often than not in Korea, it's role swaps based on personal wants. And it's the, you know, someone like Kono has been criticized for this in the past, or Dami for, you know, I don't want to play this role anymore, I want to be DPS now, and the entire team suffers actually sometimes in moments like that. And I don't know what the reason is for Tempest. I haven't been able to speak to them about it, but
I guess if they're doing a lot of the Haka, we do have Supernova, but I do just want to continue my point. Lockdown also solo lane. Okay, he did play, the most played hero is Falstad. Okay, I guess it does work in a way where he can actually play the Haka somewhat like Falstad, but we're not in the same meta, and he has not been playing Falstad for a long time. Only a few times. That was back in the meta all the time, not as much. And the second one is like Leeming, Falstad 55 times, Leeming was like 48, and then third was close to 20. So there's a big number difference there. But let's move on to Supernova.
I think that Kirisaku is Supernova's best player, and Bentham has made a good case for his Hanzo being, you know, actually a top-tier Hanzo player in Korea. But that's what worries me about the lockdown swap. As you match him up against Kirisaku, I could see Kirisaku winning the solo lane matchup, winning out on macro, and winning out on Soak, for example. Even though it's lockdown we're talking about, Kirisaku is, again, I think he's the strongest player Supernova has to offer. We've seen a little bit of weird supports today, and Alex is a player who would love to play the Ana if he had the chance to. He's got a huge support hero pool. So, you know, if you compare him to Hyde, you know, for example, he's actually played 2 more additional supports in Phase 2 alone. So a larger pool. Maps, we're going to have Infernal Shrines again to start things off. We will have the bans on Braxis and Tomb of the Spider Queen.
No more Nazebo.
Probably not. We saw a Nazebo on Infernal in Europe, but not here.
More Nazebo does make me feel bad a little bit, but let's talk about drafting as we're going to go in very soon. Supernova focusing on sometimes having lots of Irel, even Marthael, and Li Ming. And they have been poking Mora did. 3 times in a row. I said that 4 times for some reason. But so they just leave that more than later. So they focus on DPS, which is the way to go right now. So Supernova can actually get a pretty decent matchup against Tempest.
Well, Alex is called Alex for a reason. His Alex Ross will be removed away, white main as well. This leaves open the Deckard first pick that we saw an absolute refusal of Gluck to run earlier. Urel is going to be the highest contested pick here, I think, between these 2 teams with Lockdown and Kirisaku. But they take Muradin early in this draft. With the Maiev, this means that Lockdown will get to play the Urel. And that's going to be a very strong pairing with Deckard Kane. You now have the ability to run Deckard, Phoenix, and Urel in the 3-man here, so Tempest has a great position in draft. I don't hate the Maiev or the Muradin, but it doesn't give you a strong follow-up in draft, whereas Tempest could just completely control this. They'll even take the Thrall here instead of the Urel. And we know that Thrall has become more flexible. It can be played as a solo laner.
Yeah, it does look very strong already for Tempest side. They don't really have a tank, but Supernova already focused, which I thought they were not going to because they have not been doing this. So it is one different. Maybe they will just ban a Nubarak because Sign has been running a lot on this map.
Yeah,
they do already have 1 down.
He's the Anubarak god, and with Garrosh ban, I think there's a very high chance that we do see that come through. For Tempest, this ban is, you know, you're just looking at a DPS, but you don't know what Supernova's plan is, so they ban the Raynor.
Raynor's a good option, and also Junkrat. There are a few other options along with Maiev.
I think Junkrat's definitely going to be what they end up with here with Maiev. The support is the bigger question.
Yeah, next two picks, we'll see if it's Cage or Disc. Disc is also very viable. You can just control trap 1 and have 4v5, or just have one locked down.
So Kirisaku gets his Irel, but it's going to be, in fact, the Rhaegar, which I actually prefer to the Malfurion here, given the enemy composition.
Bloodlust?
It could be, but with...
Works with Disc and Cage.
Yeah, with the Junkrat probably being the 5th pick here, though. Does Bloodlust synergize that well with that? I mean, it can. But I think it's probably going to be Ancestral. For Tempest, we're looking for the main tank. It's going to be Signs of Nubrock, you have to imagine. Sonya will be Lockdown 0 here. They take the ETC.
Which is never common when they don't have Irel to pair up. But they're going back to the old one. Double support? In 2018, Phase 2 Part 2, Supernova is making that work. Well, not making it work. They have brought it. Let's see if it works. They're not against something like a Diablo in this case. And ETC is one of the squishier tanks if you compare it to like Diablo or Johanna. But you have to take into what Sonya can do along with Thrall. So when Tempest, if they run into your face, all you can do is basically run away.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about this draft for Supernova in terms of 4 things, actually. There are 3 stages of the game: early game, mid game, and late game, as well as team fights. Early game, very much high damage output with Rhaegar and Kharazim, and you've got Murden for potential stuns, but not as good as it would have been if it had like a Diablo, for example. Mid game, very weak. Heroics way less impactful than what Tempest is going to have, and late game, don't even get me started. Tempest is going to crush late game if we go there. And in terms of team fighting, who are you double supporting? Who is the carry? You're going to hope for resets on Q.
This is actually so creative and funny to me. All melee. All melee. And you got that focusing. Once you're around with all melee, you can get so much value out of Kharazim's heal. But can they really do it without the amount of CC that Tempest actually has?
This is a bad sign already. If Good had, you know, a better... If Haven was further out of position, that would have been a kill. He can get healed up very quickly with double support. Just taps a well. But even when pulls come through, Tempest is happy to be pulled in. Look at this.
Dami is the first one to be gone. Very low even before the hammer comes. Time without the power slide. Look at this, Wolf.
It's the ability to do burst damage on a target. Dami being caught was the problem there. But if you looked at what happened right before, they had massive damage, and they actually almost wiped Supernova after that pull came through. It was good focus fire and good target calling for Supernova, and they do end up winning the first 2 kills. They're going to go ahead and take the neutral camp from this as well, as No Chat temporarily will solo this.
Yeah, their melee damage, even with less CC. If you talk about the damage, they actually do crazy a lot. Rhaegar dives in, Kharazim consistent damage as long as they're close to the target. I mean, and actually Tempest, they only basically have Phoenix as the one to be off the melee range. They have Thrall, Sonya.
It's a situation where, suddenly music pause as well. It's a situation where, in ideal situations like that, you have the ability to blow up a target. Looks like you have a sound issue here potentially, unless this is something like an illegal mount. And then there are so many limits, though, I think, to what this is going to be capable of, especially post-10. But if they can snowball the game hard, get 10 early enough, long enough, use the... This is definitely going to be Bloodlust now. If they can use the Bloodlust to snowball the game, win the Shrine fights, then yes, this can work. And they do have those 2 opening kills. They do have an experience lead. Can they maintain this level of momentum? With the camps they're taking right now, the answer looks like a very positive maybe.
And Supernova, most of them has some dashes, escaping tools, as well as diving tools, but which makes it so much easier for a 5-man mosh pit. That's an option, but in this game, because they're all going to be basically rotating together, you can actually go stage dive and macro this game out. So Tempest has actually a lot of options because Supernova went all in. And let's see if they utilize that and tries to change up the strategy, as they don't really have to fight too much. They can give out some early punishers, not to not to be back in the game too far behind, and then just soak for 10. Post 10, they can macro this game one out.
So Cyan's getting his headset replaced, so we know what that means. There's a sound issue.
We got a new headset, so we're all good.
So it's an issue with his microphone, meaning his headset. You and I got new headsets for this split, so I'm very happy about that. But I'm guessing the issue will be resolved as soon as he plugs it in.
Well, he's a daddy, so he's gotta get those problems down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with him being a dad, but like, okay.
We'll never know because we don't have a kid.
That's right.
But so that's what I'm saying. All you daddies out there, I'm pretty sure you guys understand. But we have no idea.
Yeah, like, whenever my headset doesn't work, like, I'll never understand what it means, like, when my headset doesn't work when I'm a father. You know, like,
yes.
Especially when there's, like, the kid's not even in the room with me, and, in fact, he's, like, in another part of the city, and I'm playing in an esports match, and my headset doesn't work. Like, if Hyde's headset, you know, didn't work, for example, he has no son, like, it would have been a totally different scenario. But, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yes, 100% logic, I know. Thanks for following up with me.
All right, well, back in game now. The composition of Tempest has 3 melees. Well, I'm not going to count Deckard in this. It's not going to be up the front doing damage. But ETC, Thrall, and Sonya can be in position where Q resets are going to be pretty big coming out from Bentham. He has the Bloodlust on top of that. There could be some crazy fights, and that's part of the reason why that last fight went so well with the Q.
Yeah, so there are some threats. If one dwarf toss over the wall, suddenly our game sound seems like super loud for some reason, but
that's okay.
Yes. But if they jump over the wall, one Stormbolt, CC, and then just focus fire onto ETC or any of the other target. Phoenix, they don't have too much CC to control, lock them down, but they have crazy amount of burst DPS when they're gathered, clumped up together.
Interesting level 1, by the way, on Thrall. Not actually going for the more common Q, but actually
has been nerfed long time ago.
And it's also not, like, this is not BOE, so that's going to take a long time to get. I've seen this a lot in Europe, actually, but weird for us here in Korea.
3 stacks.
Yeah.
Crash.
I'm like how the Korean commentators are also just like, yeah, I don't know about this.
That's because we always piggyback off of the Korean broadcast, and sometimes we do end up saying exactly the same thing.
Okay, lockdown is the target here against Paul.
Focusing. Not bad, but we'll survive as long as he's surviving. He's a Sonya.
Yeah, he went for the root removal on 4, and Sonya is going to be able to just get so much healing with this balled up, you know, melee composition. Look at how the longer fight goes away from Supernova. They're trying to get this blow up here on the Dami, and they do get it. There's a root. Where's that damage? Oh, the power slide
is nasty. That was almost disgusting getting all
There's
of them.
There's the Q. Good's got his Q, man. Probably should have gone Q build, honestly, with this. Like, how powerful would a Q build be against this? Like, insane.
Every CC, every single time when Sign has a power slide, seems very dangerous. They do have to sustain because they have a double support. They actually has nice spirit to catch the kill there.
This is actually working out for Supernova. They get the first Punisher, Mortar Punisher here, going to get this wall down. They're going to split No Chat to the bot lane, and he's going to push that out. So they're going to try to get to 10.
This is actually crazy exciting, Wolf.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really weird.
Yeah, certainly weird with double support.
But if we continue to see these fights go so one-sided in Supernova's favor, then, I have to, wonder about its viability. We have to actually consider this comp to be viable, potentially.
But the longer game goes, I do have to agree that Tempest does have a more balanced comp. And now, along with that power slide, 7 with that pinball damage on all of them together, you have to more things to worry about as we go through the game.
It's like if they get 10 and then they snowball the fight with the Ancestral, it's when
Anakin
Skywalker's like, it's working! It's working!
We'll see. So far, Supernova does lead with that first wall broken with that Punisher. That's about it. And their rotation, of course, is their job. Their mission is to catch one.
G-Club pulled his headset out. We're going to fix it. I'm like, no, actually, I just unplugged G-Club's headset. I don't like him now. I'm tired of him talking. Good is the target here. Gets the warp away. I think what Tempest should be focusing on a lot of the time here is just... oh, you didn't even hear what I said about you.
What'd you say about me?
I said I love you, and
no, you didn't.
And you're the greatest. But I think what Tempest should be focusing on here is just avoiding these fights, because Supernova's rotating as a core, and Tempest could just soak instead and avoid fights. They've already caught up quite a bit in experience.
What did I miss?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Nothing is wrong.
Yep. Could have been a chance, but there's still warp. And Cyan was right next to that. Not right next to it. Not going to commit into the spirit. Phantom has been a really good Maiev throughout the phase, so that's not something to take down on for Tempest.
Oh yeah, for sure. And, you know, Kurisaku's on Urel, which works really well with this because she can just jump in and get the armor to everybody. It is going to be the Bloodlust. Surprise, surprise. 7-sided. Actually somewhat surprising because...
Yeah, with Disc, I think they want to get more synergy.
Yeah.
Along with that, and of course, we do have the Mosh Pit. Just watch. At least 3. Maximum to 5 Mosh Pit.
Oh, we will see at least a 3-man Mosh Pit.
Which is very rare. Very, very rare to have 5-man Mosh Pit. But in this game, I think we're about to see it, Wolf.
I want to see how many Crash Lightning stacks there are. So everyone is kind of balled up when these fights occur. Maybe that's the reason why he took it. But, Okay, Shrine fight number 2. They did not get the heroics before the fight. They did not get that. They did not get that far ahead. Okay, this is a huge Sundering opportunity if they don't back away.
And hide at level 7. Cube talent at 7. It actually reduced the damage for 4 seconds. That's really rare. But in this type of scenario, the perfect one to go actually.
So good against
Great choice.
Bloodlust, yeah. Okay, Sign. Watch his positioning here. Supernova has to split. Haven's cleansed. There's a huge 3-man Sundering. Bloodlust is out, but they need to fight now.
Ooh, some anti-synergy. They're going even now, but that will buy them enough time to get the Bloodlust off.
Lockdown caught here by 7-sided. Does get taken out here, but look at Phoenix's damage right now, potentially with the Q.
Roots 4-man Mosh Pit. We knew it was going to happen. Gets 1 down, still 4v4. Focusing on to Bentham.
He needs to leave. Sign eats some turret fire here. Good is coming in there looking for that kill on the Bentham. If Bentham dies, this all falls apart. And you know what? I think Supernova actually kind of won the fight. Plus, they have the top push with the Shaman Cap.
The number is about the same, and they have the better position with that double support sustain. Our slide.
Hey, the Q, though, is doing so much damage here.
Oh, into the root. This is crazy. Amount of DC focusing onto Alex. Turns into full and gets away, so he does keep himself alive. That's all they need. They have the sustain.
7-sided is almost ready. There it is.
This misses. Oh, that's a big mistake. He does dive in. 4v5. Focusing on the Sign. That's going to be another kill from Sonya in that shrine. We don't really see too much Sonya, but when you have all that damage, just being free for your team, you get wipes, you get kills.
I want to see Good's damage. And I also really think that if he went Q build, like, they would have won every fight. Okay, 13. He's getting there. He's getting there.
And they're winning. Now. Yes.
Finally dealing with that Shaman Cap top as well is Lockdown. So, going to have, you know, the fort saved. They have the 13 advantage now. Arcane Punisher knocks down a fort. They can push mid after stealing this.
This is almost a legendary game. What we are watching. It is not as legendary as Larva playing that crazy remastered game, but
with his feet, yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
This is not quite that.
It is not quite that. We don't have the player cams here, but Supernova, they are making this work. If they had the disc going on that ETC, I think they actually had better chance, or at least delaying it where they had more sustain. Ooh, now Tempest is certainly snowballing this game away from them, but it is not out of the question where Supernova will just jump on one target if Tempest makes a weird rotation.
Especially in these fights where, like, the fights are so long. They have double support and they have Karzim getting 2 7-sideds off in one fight. The cleanse was really good earlier to actually stop the Sundering from hitting your L in that fight too. So a lot of things to talk about here. Okay, Disc is up. Sundering though going to buy time. Knocks him into the sleep, and oh god, this is going to be a big salvo. Get out of there, Mosh Pit. It's the double.
And that's Alex gone. If Benton came in, it was going to be 3-man Mosh Pit, so no way. Great positioning there as well by Sinus, Hatting right after that Disc.
Hyde is just like, he goes over, gets the camp, he comes in, tosses,
Benton
poses in.
dives in.
Yeah, that was...
If you want more, take more.
I don't know what you mean by that, but I'll just let it... let it settle in.
Like, yeah, I talked about Lavra, so this is the game.
Okay, well... I have to strongly feel, G-Clef, that the game has moved away from Supernova now.
Though it was very exciting.
You know, the waves, the map painted blue. They're only missing the Shaman camp on blue side. Otherwise, they've got everything here.
I think this is the most NA-like game we've ever had from Korea, where they actually have a crazy theme they want to try as a strategy, but it just does not work as an execution on the stage against a better team with a normal balanced comp.
Oh boy. Well, wave clear is pretty abysmal for Supernova. That's another issue. Like when I see Maiev like going into the off lane to try to clear waves, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what you got. Like that's what you got to do here. We got the Rhaegar right before this Punisher. They're gonna do the camp. 16's up, and a big power spike for Supernova is actually the cleansing touch once they hit 16, because that's going to make it a lot easier. They'll have 2 cleanses and like a consistent.
I don't even know if he's going to go for cleansing touch.
What do you think he's going to get?
They already have cleanse. 100 Fist for more damage. I think No Chat is looking for that. And they actually should in this case, because he has kind of a double support as well as a DPS in this case.
Well, we'll see. Dami gonna force out the Sundering. Yep, in the choke point. Mosh can happen right outside this disc. Unless he gets blown up by Seven-Sided, which is exactly what happened. Salvo here from the other side from Good. Dami's caught. Hyde can't do anything. He needs to get back to the fort. That's going to be 2 dead. Meanwhile, Sonya soloing the Shrine, so they are going to get the objective, and they have the Shaman camp pushing. So Supernova needs to remember that macro is, in fact, a factor of Heroes of the Storm. There's only so much you can do with team fighting. They may get this fort, but look at this. Look at that 37 of 40. This is insignificant compared to a dead keep, which may be what they're looking at here when we see Sign respawn in 15 seconds.
And they are even stronger now. 100 Fists, let's go.
All right.
Pro 16, and they've won that team fight with very nice setup, starting with the disc. And of course, Supernova caught them off guard. Certainly, if they have one more moment like that. Look at the comp they actually have. They can body the core damage, go in for the keep, and Kerosene will be doing the most damage.
Yeah, and Maiev has a good way to set that up. The disc makes it easier to 7-side someone, which is why it ends up being the correct choice here. In fact, if they went for the cage, it would have anti-synergy with their composition. But can they defend this with no range damage down to the keep? You know, if anyone asks me, I would say no. That would be my personal professional opinion.
Personal professional opinion, yes.
Bloodlust to burst down the Immortal. Literally, that just happened.
The Punisher, yes.
Sorry,
the keep
Punisher.
is down, though. Keep goes down, the Tempest, they will just... From this moment on, they can macro this one up, but they're going for core. They have Mosh Pit, they have everything else.
There's no Bloodlust, so why not just go for core here?
Spirit. Okay, going to buy some time, getting them away from the perfect positioning.
Oh, the Mosh potential here is massive. Look at Sign, he gets exactly what he wants. He's disked before he can use it. That was actually really well done, but the core is going down. There's the Mosh on those minions, man. They're not defending. That's going to be game over here. Tempest takes it to game number 1. Those minions, man, they couldn't help out, dude. Got him right out of the containment ditch. Those minions are not going to defend the core, man. They're dancing. That was the game. That was play of the game right there. I think like the fact that everyone on the side of Supernova is like really stressed out after this loss here is a bad sign, because this comp was destined to crush early game and win the whole thing from there, or just totally fall on its face. And they won a few early game fights, but that was it after that. Not much else to say about this one, guys. This is one of the ones that when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to be like, wait a minute, did they really do that, or was that actually a dream? Dude, G-Cup had this weird dream where Supernova tried to run full melee comp, Bloodlust, double support. Oh, it was totally weird, man. I woke up and I was sweating, and I was freaking out a little bit, and I called G-Cup and I was like, man.
If that was my dream, I would be waking up in tears. Tears of joy at the same time. Well, that was a game that we had in Photo Shrines. Okay. Let's move on.
Let's move on.